Welcome to the September Project, otherwise known as the Haunted Stitcher. Good morning, good morning. I started this early this morning after walking. We saw 3 deer, we saw something else, and then we saw a strange man walking in the woods. Yeah. I grabbed my husband's arm and I'm like, do you see what I see? He goes, yeah. Where is he coming from? I'm like, I don't know. Where is he going? Why is he there? He was all in black, had a hood on. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm hoping it's a very tall teenager going somewhere to get a ride to go to school. Because I didn't see his face. I couldn't tell if he had like a beard or anything. I don't know. But it was just really weird walking through the woods. It is a long cut from one of the yards on our street, actually. I'm like, where is he coming from? I know one time when our granddaughter was little playing with the girl next door, they always were playing in the woods, which was fine until one day they came home and they said there was somebody's fort. And so Ken and I were like looking at each other like, a fort? There are no little kids around here except you two and your brothers, our neighbor's brothers. And so he walked up in the woods and I kind of followed him a little bit. And he goes, yeah, that's not somebody's fort. I'm like, okay, where's that person coming from? And it's in the same area and the same kind of looking guy. And I know one of the neighbor that's at the very end of our cove, which is where this is coming from, has a child that ODs about every 3 months. And all the firemen, all the ambulances, the police department, everybody comes and they spend like 2 hours down there and then they leave. And about every 3 months this is happening. And it has been for about 2 years now. In fact, we have some neighbors that have been here a little bit longer than we have down there. Well, several neighbors that have been here longer than we have down in that area. And they said, oh no, don't go down there. and we don't, because they're on a little bit of a dirt road off of our road. And they said, yeah, don't go. We don't talk to them. We don't do anything. So I don't know what the deal is, but I'm hoping it was that kid's brother, maybe. I don't even know if there's that many kids in the family. I don't know. Anyhow, all of that to say, we had a nice walk, saw deer, we saw something else. No, I can't remember what it was. I should have wrote it down when I first saw it. Oh, Chloe, the dog, came sneaking up behind us. We don't walk on her street anymore because she likes to play with Gunner, and Gunner cannot stand that, and she doesn't understand no. She's a Labradoodle. They're rambunctious, and she's all legs. Anyhow, she came across the main road between our two streets and was walking behind us. I'm like, Chloe's behind us. And I kind of stomped my foot at her and said, Chloe, go home. And she listens about as much as Gunner does. And anyhow, Gunner thankfully didn't even know what was happening behind him. He was just on a mission to go home. So, anyhow. But our weather has cooled off. I had a sweatshirt on this morning and yesterday. But we didn't see any animals yesterday, but I did see 3 deer this morning. Anyhow, so all that to say, when I got home, I started playing with paper, and I just kept layering a bunch of scraps and adding a little bit of detail, shadows. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't think I'll use it in this journal. However, I might if I scan it and then turn it black and white. That might work. So anyhow, I kind of warmed up this morning, but I was with this. And I don't always do this. However, with this texture paste, and it has to dry a good, I feel, at least like 24 hours before you get it wet with more paint or whatever. It needs a good 24 hours. So I've been playing in the morning a little bit before I start talking to you. I know that's not necessary and not the way I roll, but I have been. Anyhow, this needs to dry a little bit more, but it needed something, and I couldn't figure out what it needed. And I was going through my texture paste stack, which I have like 4 or 5 pages now of different shapes. And then I remembered I had this yellow and orange thing that I made the other day that I only used 2 of them. I'm like, yellow brightens up everything. I thought it needs more than one. So I got out a couple more of its cousins, these spots here, and I proceeded to paint them the same colors with my tempera paint sticks, and maybe 3 of them will go on here. I'm not sure, but these need to dry a little bit because tempera paint sticks are tacky for a while, not to be confused with my tackiness at times. Anyhow, so all of this to say, I'm just playing this morning here before I start working in my journal, my art journal of Lizzie Gordon quilts. And it's fun. I've been turning on music, and since I'm doing these super long videos, I've done a lot of voiceovers. I've got music playing in the background. I finally figured out that I can record and listen to music at the same time on my phone, which this is an iPhone 16, so it's not too old. It's only about a year old. And I made all these frames. So much fun. So much fun. Tim Holtz, I'm coming for you. I'm coming to Tim Holtz Academy next year. I'm telling you. Did all this kind of stuff. Yikes, yikes, yikes. All these great ooey gooey Halloween looking frames, some film strips. So much fun. So much fun. But then that hand. Ooh, that hand had me at hello. Even though I don't think it's saying hello, it's like come inside, my little pretty, is what it's really saying. But I started today and I worked on today without my magic pom-pom sweater or my bracelet almost too quickly. The machine made quilts almost too quickly. Yesterday the machine was the story was the machine was making quilts, but then it said almost too quickly. So then I had these little doors that I made yesterday and put on here in preparation for today, not knowing what today was going to be. It was just going to be more of a green quilting barf, whatever color this is, combo. But the hand, oh my gosh. So I'm like, I could put the hand on one side of the door and kind of like use it as a tab to open the doors. And then I realized there's a face attached to that hand, so I cut his face off. I don't want the face. I want just the hand. Just the hand, please. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. But I did all of this without magic pom-poms or my Halloween bracelet. So am I already in my groove and I've got it all down? I don't need the Halloween sweater? Of course I do. Of course I do. Anyhow, I think something to that effect will work good. But I need to grunge up, layer up all of these layers here. And I do it using the same techniques I've been using. Layers and layers. And then when you think you have enough layers, you put on some more layers. And I did use a couple little Tim Holtz things here. And a frame that I made out of my paper. So much fun. So much fun. So, guess what I'm doing the rest of the day? I'm trying to figure out how to do KDP on Amazon. I said I'm by hook or by crook, I'm going to figure this out before I go to the beach, which is in 1 month from today. Oh, so ready. So ready. I am getting very lazy at home. Do you all ever do this? When you have a list of things you need to be doing, you self-sabotage. You don't do them. So then you're like in a panic at the last day. You're like, oh, yeah. We have a family thing that my husband's family started it when he was a little boy, which was generations ago. But his mom and some of her cousins and brothers and sisters started this tradition, and little by little, everybody is moved away. But the kids, we get together, and it moves from house to house every year. But and I've talked about this before. And the kids all got Christmas presents. It's a potluck. Everybody brings a dish, and the kids all got Christmas presents until they turned 12, I think. And then after that, it was the saddest year because you didn't get any more presents from everybody. Well, it got to be so that there were so many kids, and the presents got smaller and smaller, rightly so. And then it got to be where this person moved away, or this person was now in a nursing home, sadly. Or, this person moved back, we don't know their kids, or this person got divorced and now we don't have those kids. It just over the years, over the last 30 years that I've been around, it has changed quite a bit. Now there are 4 cousins that get together. My husband and his brother, sometimes 5, and their cousin and her sister, and sometimes the brother comes. But the brother's wife has MS, so she can come only if it's closer to home, because it does still keep changing. But it used to be the first weekend in December, by hook or by crook. The first Sunday, I think it was, and it was like 12:30, so everybody came after church. Now that there's 4 or maybe sometimes 5 families that do it, and no more grandchildren. We do not buy anything for the grandchildren because none of the grandchildren live here. None of the grandchildren are under 12 anymore. Now there's great grandchildren. It's just, no way, no way. So, and one person takes care of it food wise now, since there's only 4 couples. So this year it's our turn. Although I don't think it is, but in questioning everybody else, it's like, I think it is your turn, Beth. I'm like, okay. Seems like I just did it, but time does fly, so who knows? And there's there's 2 couples in the upstate. Us. My husband's brother lives close to us, and then there's another couple down at the beach. So either you're driving the cousin that is down at the beach, her sister is in the upstate, so she comes and spends like the night or maybe 2 nights, I don't know. And then when it's our turn, we're in the middle of the state, so everybody can make it here, and easily. Well, the middle of the state is about 2 hours from every direction. Well, 3 hours from the beach, but he has, that cousin's husband has a brother that lives across the lake. So it's just a really neat tradition. And the fact that we're still trying to hold on here with 4 couples, sometimes 5, depending on health. And, there used to be kids upon kids, and there were, my husband's mom's stepbrothers, no, half-brothers, because her mom died when she was in like junior high, and in those days, the man had to remarry to take care of the kids, and he remarried and then had 2 more kids with that wife. So those 2 boys, but all of those people are gone now, all of them. The last one died. The last 2, because they were younger, the 2 half-brothers, one died with COVID and didn't believe COVID existed. And the other one had diabetes and was just couldn't hang on any longer. And it's just so sad when all of that's gone. And there's pictures. Oh, this was at the I can't say the last name, but we call it the DO, the DO, the family do. And the fact that it was started probably 70 years ago, at least. I don't know how old my husband was when they did it. They started it, but I think it may have been before he was born, because he's some of the younger. My husband and his brother are some of the younger cousins by just a couple years. But they all grew up together. They all lived real close, and that green strip that I just had there is the same thing that I did with that first strip of layers and layers of paper, but I did it on the computer in greens. Love it. Anyhow, so you can see I'm just adding paper here and there, layers and layers of details as far as Stabilo Tempera paint sticks, Neocolor 2s everywhere. And then I added a little bit more texture with some of my homemade stamps and a little bit of Shakespeare. I think I used to think this was Edgar Allan Poe, but I think it's Shakespeare. But I just put ink on his head, and you can't tell what it is, and I just wanted texture. I did not want his actual face. That's actually a little bit too dark, but once it's all done, it's okay. So anyhow, I need to be doing some deep cleaning, like cupboards, and pull all the silverware out and clean the silverware drawer out. Do you ever have to do that? I think my husband throws crumbs in that drawer just to drive me nuts. But, and then just deep clean some corners that never get touched during the rest of the year. But all of this needs to be done before we go to the beach, because we are coming home like 2 days before the due, and I'm not going to have time to do lots of deep cleaning, nor do I want to. So and none of us cook everything anymore. We cater part of it or get it delivered or something, part of it. So I don't have a lot of cooking to do, but I need to do some. Anyhow, so I need to get going here, and I'm stalling. All of that to say, I am stalling big time. So do y'all, when you have things to do you stall? Do you self-sabotage? I think it's called self-sabotaging. I self-sabotage a lot. However, not in art. Not playing with all my art supplies. This turned out fabulous, in my opinion. Is it to the, will I get an A plus in Tim Holtz Academy? No, but I still want it to be a little bit of my own stuff, my own flair, if that's what you can call it. But I love the green. I love the green next to the cream and black. Not, believe it or not, it's not cream. What is this color? Peach. Peach. But, and I'm just trying to add some extra detailing here and there with pencils and the same thing over and over again. The same thing over and over and over. But this hand. And then I decided to wrap the fingers around to the other side. So number one, they wouldn't get bent. But number two, it just kind of added some extra mystery once you open the doors. There's hands coming through. Love this. Love this. Love the fact that I did the doors. Love the fact that I made my own frame. And you could see me clenching my hands a little bit here and there. I was so excited with how this turned out. And then tomorrow, the other half of the page, which I didn't do them evenly. This is still kind of damp. But the bottom half of that page, bottom section, will get done tomorrow. And then I cut out the words tomorrow, and it's starting to get a little spooky now. So this was a good point to put the hand, where they're starting to become, the story is starting to take a spooky turn. Not Halloween, just spooky. Anyhow, I do a tiny bit of a flip through here because it's starting to really, really come together. And it's a little bit different than what I've been doing. So even though there's a lot of grunge, a lot of stuff, but the little bit of stitching and all the extra little tiny pockets and things like that are a little bit different for me. And I actually took some of the wording and covered up my own writing here because I didn't like it. Now the other side blends in with the green, mustard green, yellowish color there. But this side, it kind of stood out a little bit. So I took the new background paper and put it on top of my writing. But I love it. Now, granted, the picture above where the triangles are, that doesn't blend in because it's too white. Something might have to be done with that thing tomorrow. I don't know. But it is more grungy than I normally do, and it's more, I need to do my title on the inside still, but it's starting to come together, and I like how it's little bits and pieces are sticking out of the book. I love it. Love it. So, thanks for watching, as usual, and I will see you tomorrow, but watch out for hands on the back of your doors. Yes. Yes. Thanks for watching. Bye.